Oh, hello. Anyone out there ever watch the Nick Kroll show? This is totally off topic, but whenever I say, oh, hello, it just reminds me of the sketch of the two old guys. What's his name? Of course, I can't think of his name right now, but Nick Kroll and the other guy. I don't know. They play two old guys and they play pranks on people by giving them too much tuna. It's ridiculous. I don't know why I told you this story, but you just heard it. So, hi, welcome to Conversations with a Wounded Healer. I'm your host, Sarah Bueno. And for today's solo episode, I wanted to steal. I'm totally stealing, but I guess it's not stealing if I give them credit. But there's a podcast called 10 Things That Scare Me. And they're literally only 5-minute episodes, and they have people just list off the things that scare them and then talk a little bit about some of that stuff. So I wanted to do that. And it's interesting how difficult it was for me to come up with 10. It was easy for me to come up with like 5, but getting to 10 was a struggle. And I guess I'm kind of reflecting on that and curious if that's actually indicative of not having many fears or being kind of a fearless person, as I do like to think of myself, not as fearless, but like, you know, I push through fear. Like, I'm not afraid to be afraid. Ooh, maybe that's the title of this episode. Not afraid to be afraid. Anyway, 10 things that scare me. Let's go. Number 1. Being a bad person and being unaware of being a bad person. I remember in college, I specifically asked one of my friends if I was crazy, if I was a bad person. And she was like, no. And when I look back on it, I really was crazy. And I was doing things that could put me in the category of being a bad person. And so I always think about that. And I'm checking the people that are around me that I'm asking those questions of. Because at the time I'm like, well, Kristen, you must have been super crazy too, because you told me I wasn't. I'm going to have to send this episode to her. Anyway, number 2, turning into my mother. Doesn't everybody have that fear of turning into their parent? I definitely have that. And I don't think it's going to happen, but it's still a fear that is always looming. Number 3, adults dressed as babies. I don't know where this came from. I don't know why. I have a visceral reaction to it. Something in a former life, an adult dressed as a baby attacked me or something. And I understand that there are people that are really into the fetish of age play. And I am not demeaning that for you if that is something that you are interested in, but it is terrifying to me. So you can do it not near me. Number 4, I am terrified of hurting people. It is one of the hardest things for me to do when I know I have to say something or do something that somebody would potentially find hurtful. Like, for instance, I recently just had a client not come to session, and I was terrified to tell her that I had to charge her the cancel fee because she just didn't show up for the session. And I didn't want to hurt her, but I said it because I have to keep my boundaries, right? Number 5, seeing a ghost. I am super into the paranormal right now. I've told you my favorite podcast is called And That's Why We Drink, and it's about paranormal and true crime. And I'm all about watching like all the ghost shows I possibly can, but I just don't want to see one in real life. I'm okay if they communicate with me, and that has happened a couple times, but I don't want to see one. I don't want to see a ghost. Number 6, having to pee and not finding a place to go. We'll just leave that where it is. Number 7, bugs crawling into my ear when I sleep, or you know what, in my mouth, actually. That's more terrifying. Number 8, my brother dying. That's one of my biggest fears. And my husband and I always joke that, you know, if someone came at me and my brother and my husband with a gun, I would stand in front of my brother and protect him instead of my husband, because I can get another husband, but I can't get another brother. Number 9, being grossly misunderstood. I think the fear of not being heard and not being understood, to me, is more terrifying than any sort of isolation or anything. I just think if I'm not understood, then I don't exist. And number 10, losing my vision. I really think I need to see, and I hope that doesn't go away. So that's it. 10 things that scare me. I'm curious, what scares you? Thanks as always to the Creative Imposter Studios for editing, to Liam O'Donnell for the album art, and to Ben Mueller for our theme music. To find out more about Conversations with a Wounded Healer, just go to our website at www.headhearttherapy.com/podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, bye-bye.